Did the Department of Social Development spend 1 million rand on the Deputy Director General for Welfare Services for this New York trip?
Let me just contextualize this because, as you report, sometimes the report doesn't come clearly. This is an annual UN commission on the status of women, which the Department of Social Development, Women and Youth and Persons with Disability, Education, and other departments go there on a yearly basis, which is something that we have sent people there. Yes, indeed, it was expensive. But as you are aware that normally when business people says that there will be a lot of conferences, even in something, they increase the price. The exchange rate was a little bit higher than normal. But comprehensively, we spend around that amount of money as a department.
So how much did the Social Development Department spend on the DDG for this trip to New York?
Normally, if you look at all the issues in terms of the flight, the accommodation, and also the SNT, it comes to about 600, I think 609 or 607 as expenditure, which is something that during that time when it's expensive, we could accept it.
So you're saying that on one person as the Department of Social Development, you didn't spend 1 million rand, but for flights, for accommodation, for transfers, you spent about 600,000 rand for this one DDG to be able to attend this conference in New York.
Yeah, it's up to that level, yes.
My understanding is that the flight was about 200,000 rand. Why is that the case?
Now, Clement, if you look at the prices for flights, businesses to when you go overseas, it's too much. Even if in Africa, it's very expensive. If you fly business class.
And I looked at the United Airlines. I looked at United Airlines, for instance. I mean, at some point, the flight is going at 97,000 rand business. So how do we get to 200,000 rand?
No, it depends whether you are connecting or not connecting in terms of that. But in terms of the approach that we use, even that we is prescribed in our policies, even national treasury policies, businesses are expensive. They are expensive. They are not as simple, cheap as that. Yeah.
But you must still decide as a department. I mean, if there's a 97,000 rand business flight where you have to connect via Doha or Dubai, surely as a department for a government that doesn't have money, that's actually the price tag that you go for, and not the price tag of almost 200,000 rand because you want the direct flight. You take what's affordable.
Yes, but Clement, I've mentioned that during that time when we have got this commission on the status of women, you tend not to get anything, completely anything.
But you said you attend this on a yearly basis, DG. Why do you not plan in advance? People who want to deal with costs, if you are saying you have been attending this conference on a yearly basis, what you actually do is to actually look for flights in advance. And you realize that when you book way in advance because you know that there's a conference coming, then you end up not really spending as much as you would when you're booking closer to the date.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you that I think after that, that's what we then realize that the lessons learned is that we will need also to make sure that we do our things in time. But sometimes, fate, things happens, and we that's what we find ourselves into the situation. Not that we are happy about it. It's something that we're...
So in total, as a department, you've spent what, about 3 million rand on this trip for all your 7 delegates?
Yes.
What's the value for money?
South Africa, as a democratic country, has got a lot to teach. One, to teach other nations how democracy must be implemented in the country. How we are dealing with the issues of the status of women, and how we deal with how to empower our women in terms of the poverty, in terms of social grants that we're giving, the gender-based violence. We have got a command center that we have, which we teach people. And most of the time when you go there, we are the talk of town. We are also learning from other international countries in terms of how you will need to implement what we have. That's why most of the times when we implement our programs, especially on women, we get recognized worldwide because we do an international approach in terms of how we deal with our system. There is a lot of value for money. There is also lessons that we learn, and there's also the issue where we make sure that even developing countries that are there are able to learn from us.
And you need 7 delegates to go and learn. You can't send 2 or 3 delegates because government doesn't have money, and those people can come back with a report and share whatever they've learned with everybody else in the department.
Yeah, the approach of these commissions, Clement, is totally different. You get a plenary, plus the parallel sessions, plus the events that, as a department, you are supposed to lead and guide and chair. In other words, you are supposed to be more than what it is. I think you're supposed to be more than that. So you will find that even the 7 people who said it's not enough, but that's what we could as a department. It's not us alone anyway. It's just that you are talking to me from social development. Several departments also do the same.
Which makes it even worse. I mean, if there are different departments that are sending, I think the Department of Women sent about 5 delegates. The Department of Higher Education spent 1.6 million sending 5 delegates. Department of Women spent 2 million sending 5 delegates. You have spent 3 million sending 7 delegates. You are part of one government, and somehow you can't ration the resources and say, because we really don't have money, let's rather send 2 officials per department, and they can provide a report and come and report back. Isn't that a better way of rationing the resources as opposed to send 7, 5 from another department, another 5 from another department, as if these are not part of one government?
It is nicely said than done, because different department represent different mandate. When you do that, different departments have got different mandate. Our mandate as social development is the biggest, which has got the issue of social protection, gender-based violence issue, substance abuse, and also the rights of women. So there's a lot of issues, topics that we deal with in conferences of this nature.
Yeah, but the Department of International Relations has also advised you, as departments attending these international events, to keep your delegations at a minimum, because the fiscus is under severe pressure. And I suppose that's a point I'm trying to make, that with a fiscus that is under pressure, it doesn't make sense to say, okay, send 7 people from social development, send 5 people from Department of Women, 5 people from Department of Higher Education. If really the fiscus is constrained, then you make compromises. You cut that by half. I want to quickly get your response on Lumka Oliphant, the spokesperson for Social Development Department. She has been suspended. She says that she has been suspended because you suspect that she is the one that leaked this information about the trip to New York to the media. Why have you suspended her?
With regard to Lumka Oliphant, she was suspended on a precautionary nature, because we want to investigate the findings of the AGS with regard to the AGSA has got a finding on one of the procurement on the contracts that she was managing, and this finding requires that we investigate that matter, and that is precautionary. We do that in terms of the law. Right. You need to ask someone to go home, and then so that you can investigate.